Andy's mom theory. So we watched Andy's dad, and that was fucked up. So if you guys haven't seen that already, go check it out. It's on my page. It's pretty crazy. But here we go. We're gonna react to the Andy's mom theory, because if it's any crazier than the dad theory, this is gonna blow my mind.
Hey brother Ben, today we are going to delve into one of my favorite series ever, Toy Story, and we are going to learn the truth about Andy's mom. Toy Story, the one that started it all. It's always been such a great story to me because although the main characters are definitely Woody, Buzz, and the rest of the gang, all the decisions they ever make are based around their owner, Andy, who isn't really even in the movies that much, and yet he's kind of the central character. However, while the toys are always off solving whatever Andy-themed crisis they seem to find themselves in, they're often put in that situation by a character we see even less of, Andy's mom. In the first movie, she gives Andy Buzz, which effectively started the great cowboy spaceman war of Andy's room. And then later in the movie, she decides to move the family, accelerating the deadline for which them to escape Sid's house. In the second movie, she holds a yard sale from which Woody is eventually stolen. And in the third movie, she forces Andy to either toss or store his toys, which accidentally lands them in daycare. Yes, that's right.
Damn.
For all the villains the toys face, the real enemy is Andy's mom. Well, no, not really, or not intentionally anyway. But what we are about to find out is that Andy's mom might actually have been one of the main antagonists of the second movie. Okay, well, antagonist might be a strong word. Let me explain. Our story starts with a hat. This hat, worn by Andy in Toy Story 1. Does it look familiar to you, Ben? Are you sure? Are you sure? Well, it shouldn't, because we haven't met Jessie yet. This is still Toy Story 1. But we have met Buzz Lightyear, a toy who is extremely aware of who he is. He's Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, and he is more aware that he is Buzz Lightyear than the fact that he is a toy. And in the second movie, we see that he actually recognizes other toys from his own series, that being Zurg. That is the behavior of a brand new toy. But on the other side of the fence, when Woody meets the rest of the characters from his collection in the second movie, he has never heard of them. He has no idea who they are, or indeed who he is, which means Woody is not a new toy at all. In fact, based on the rest of the collection we see in the second movie, Woody is a very old toy, which means that Andy probably inherited him from possibly his missing father? In the first movie, his younger sister Molly is a baby, but his father is nowhere to be seen, meaning that he very recently walked out or very recently died. Personally, I like to think he died, which I said a little too cheerfully, but hold on, I'll get to that in a second. But if Andy's dead father did leave him Woody, then it would explain why he's so obsessed with this one toy in particular. But back to the hat. Where did the hat come from? Ben, this is where it gets interesting, because I believe that that hat came from Andy's mom. And unlike the guesswork we have to do with Andy's father, I think we can prove it. After we meet Jessie in the second film, we see that she is wearing the exact same hat, which begs the question, why is Andy wearing a girl's hat? Unless it came from a female figure in his life, like his mother. But then there's really no proof of his mom owning the hat. Or is there? Take a look at this shot of Jessie in the room of her former owner, Emily. What is that on the bed? Could it be the hat? During Jessie's flashback to her time with Emily, we see a lot of the decor in Emily's room. It's definitely late 60s, early 70s. Andy was born in the 80s, which means that at the time the sequence was happening, Andy's mom would have been about the same age as Emily. Do you see where I am going with this? But wait a second, let's look at those hats again. Andy's hat is different than that hat. There's no white ribbon around his, so oh my god, you can see where the ribbon used to be. Look at those fade marks. That is an old hat. That is a hat that is older than Andy. That was passed down from a parent. Yes, Andy's mom is Emily, Jessie's former owner. Wait, doesn't Emily donate all of her cowgirl stuff at the end of that sequence? Why, yes, keen observer, she does, but if you pay close attention, you notice that the hat is not in the box because she kept the hat and eventually gave it to her son, who would eventually become the owner of the doll she once loved. So then why doesn't his mom ever recognize Jessie? I don't know. I mean, I personally don't remember every single toy I had as a kid, even my favorite ones, and I imagine that as a single mom of 2 children, you eventually just stop keeping track track of every single toy that they have ever owned. But she is single, and Andy's dad is never mentioned, and if he did leave Andy Woody, then why not bring it up? Well, my thought is that it would give Andy another reason to love his toys other than childlike joy and innocence. Loving a toy because it has sentimental value to you sends a completely different message. Plus, I think that would really change Woody's role. It would kind of make him serve as the father figure Andy never had, which I'm not sure is what they're going for, although it might be what he is anyway. Anyway, I just love Pixar, and I was so excited to read this theory, which, for the record, I did not come up with. This was written by the brilliant John Negroni. I am just spreading the love. I will leave a link down to his full article about the truth about Andy's mom down in the description below. My question for you guys is, what do you think happened to Andy's dad, and do you think this is true?
Full Andy's mom theory. John Negroni. We don't know the first name of Andy's mom. We don't know Emily's last name. We know that Andy's hat and Emily's hat are the same. We know that Emily is old enough to be Andy's mom. We definitely know that Pixar is perfectly capable of sneaking this in without being overt about it. That is true.